You have never lost a battle. It's now 6:32 right here on NRP Radio. It's now time for us to present the newscast to you right here on the station. We want to say thanks to you and you and you for joining us on the station. It's always a pleasure having you on board. We do appreciate your time. Stay tuned for the news coming your way right now. A very pleasant morning to you and welcome now to the newscast right here on this station. It is the National Religious Partnership Media and Radio. We broadcast on the frequencies or on the platform rather of nrpmediaja.com. Also Facebook and YouTube at nrpmediaja. It's Thursday, March 14, 2024. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Break of Day newscast. And here are the headlines. The Income Tax Act is to be amended to increase the maximum participating voting share capital of companies listed on the Junior Stock Exchange from $500 million to $700 million. Finance Minister provides a further clarification about the personal income tax threshold. Over 70,000 US dollars seized at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. 2 Jamaican nationals arrested. Schools in the Grange Hill community of Westmoreland reopened for classes today. And in sports, Reggae Boys are squad for the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League finals to be released today. The news today is brought to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations whatsoever. Stay tuned right here as we bring the news to you right here on this station, NRP Radio, the station that reaches you right across the entire globe. Stay tuned as we come back with the details of the news.
Hi, I'm Genevieve.
And I'm Kalisha. And we are the Chryso Praises. You're listening to NRP Media and Radio. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Now, the details of the news here on NRP Radio. The Income Tax Act will be amended to increase the maximum participating voting share capital of companies listed on the Junior Stock Exchange from $500 million to $700 million. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, said the measures are in an effort to further facilitate growth of the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises sector. Dr. Clark added that the industry has lobbied for this let me read it again. Dr. Clark added that the industry has lobbied for this for quite a number of years, and the government has listened and now signaling its support and moving the threshold. The minister, who was opening the 2024-2025 budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, said the Income Tax Act will also be amended to clarify that trust and corporate services providers continue to assess corporate income tax at the rate, or that should be access corporate income tax rate at the 25%. He said the adjustment is to address an increase in rate when the International Corporate and Trust Providers Act of 2017 was amended in 2021, in keeping with Jamaica's anti-money laundering obligations. Dr. Clark explained further that one of the amendments had that the trust and corporate service providers now ought to be regulated by the Financial Services Commission, and that was an unintended consequence of what was planned at the time. He says that what was planned at the time, that their corporate income tax rate went up from 25% to 33.33%, and the minister said this was not the policy intent. Meanwhile, effective April 2024, the personal income tax threshold will move from $1.5 million to $1.7 million. This was announced by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, while opening the budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Dr. Clark said the measures will cost approximately $9 billion. And he also announced a reverse tax credit for all Jamaicans who earn under $3 million. Dr. Clark added that the reverse tax credit means that for every registered taxpayer who earns under $3 million, the government will provide a reverse tax credit of $20,000. And speaking at a post cabinet press briefing yesterday, Dr. Clark provided further clarification. He said the initiative will be made available through an online platform to make the process secure and efficient. As with 570,000 people set to benefit, it would have been inefficient to have them walking into an office and doing paperwork. The minister, while indicating that the system will be robust, pointed out that the government would take some time to develop and put that system in place, ensuring that it is not vulnerable to nefarious activities. Dr. Clark also indicated that a public education campaign would precede the implementation of the initiative and should commence in the first quarter of the fiscal year. The new initiative will cost $11.4 billion. The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services TODS Road Safety Network team yesterday announced a raft of creative programs and activities aimed at keeping fatal death on the nation's roads under 400 in 2024. The 13-point plan announced yesterday at the Boulevard Baptist Church in St. Andrew include a massive and graphic media campaign, public relations road campaign island-wide, establishment of parish road safety network teams in every parish, and a school education campaign. Communications Director and founding member of the One Voice Transportation Group, Lorraine Finnegan, has been appointed spokesperson of the network team. She will also take on the position of a rapporteur to the network. According to Todd's, nothing will stop them from taking to the street to ensure motorists assist with the process and to ensure there is a reduction in fatal accidents this year. The release from Todd's also indicated that President Louis Barton will be the financial advisor to the network and has been mandated to present the program budgeted at the next sitting of the team, which will see a financial support of over $20 million. Schools in the Grange Hill community of Westmoreland are set to reopen for classes today. This, as a joint police and military operation, is expected to be continued in the area to ward off a feud now taking place between rival gangs. The feud has forced educational institutions in the area to close their doors, disrupting the lives of many students and educators over the past 2 days. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Area 1, Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers, says that the JCF has launched several initiatives with the support of the military to cauterize the events which led to schools closing their doors over the past 48 hours. He said this includes enforcing a curfew and conducting road policing efforts. He added that the police have underscored their commitment to the Grange Hill community, not just as a temporary measure, but as a presence aimed at fostering a safe and secure environment over the long haul. In the meantime, the Westmoreland Police, headed by SSP Wayne Josephs, has assured that the police will also be working closely with all stakeholders, including local schools, community leaders, and residents, to ensure that the peace and safety restored through recent interventions are maintained. And as schools in Grange Hill prepare to welcome back students, the police continue to encourage anyone with information about violence producers to come forward and provide that information through a telephone call to police emergency at 119, Crime Stop at 311, the NIB tip line at 811, or the nearest police station. Investigators assigned to the Narcotics Division in Kingston have seized over 70,000 US dollars at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. 2 Jamaican nationals were arrested in relation to the seizure. Reports are that about 5:20 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12, a male and female arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport on a flight from Turks and Caicos. During security screening procedures, anomalies were observed in their luggages. A search led to the discovery of US 39,828, that should be US$12,828 and US$30,460 respectively, concealed in jars with hair products. Both suspects were subsequently arrested and on reasonable suspicion for breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act. Their names are being withheld pending further investigations. You're listening to news on NRP Radio, your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations.
Hi, I'm Genevieve.
And I'm Kalisha. And we are the Christo Praises. You're listening to NRP Media and Radio. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
And now, at this time, we bring to you some sporting information brought to you by Hepburn's Glass, located at 13 Chisholm Avenue. They are in Kingston, Jamaica. Check them out today for all of your glass needs. Hepburn's Glass.
Hepburn's Glass Supplies is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted and clear glasses, as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none, with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 9080962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass. Quality service is our priority.
Thank you very much for staying with us right here on NRP Radio. Inside of the NRP Break of Day newscast, it's now time for our sports stories. We run off on rugby. Wales centre George North has announced he will retire from international rugby after the Six Nations on Saturday. The home game against Italy will be his 121st, I should say, and final Wales appearance. North, who is 31 years old, is Wales' third most capped player in history, behind Alun Wyn Jones and Gethin Jenkins. He will continue playing club rugby after announcing he will move from Ospreys to French side province for the 2024-2025 season. North is the latest Wales player to announce his retirement within the last year, following Jones, Justin Tisprick, Riz Webb, Josh Navidi, Dan Biggar, and Leigh Halfpenny, who announced earlier. On cricket, England batsman Harry Brook has made the difficult decision to withdraw from this year's Indian Premier League following the death of his grandmother. The 25-year-old Yorkshireman was set to play for Delhi Capitals after being bought for £380,000 in December. Brook missed England's recent 4-1 Test series defeat in India after his grandmother first became ill. In a post, Brooks said, "Now she has passed, my family and I are grieving, and I need to be around them," unquote, he said. The 2024 IPL starts on March 22, with the final taking place on May 25 or 26. And on Formula One action, Oliver Bearman wants to fulfill a childhood dream of earning a Formula One seat next year after making his debut at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The 18-year-old became the youngest Briton to start a Grand Prix when he was called up by Ferrari to replace Carlos Sainz, who had appendicitis. Bearman finished ahead of seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. Getting a taste of the amazing world, I know what I'm missing out on in F1, Bearman said. Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc said, quote, "It is just a matter of time before he is in F1." While British 1996 world champion Damon Hill wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "Star is born now." On football, on a night when all eyes were on the Champions League, the Premier League witnessed its biggest comeback win in more than 20 years. Away from the television cameras and the drama of Madrid and Dortmund, Bournemouth and Luton played out one of the most extraordinary Premier League matches of this or any recent season. Bournemouth won 4-3, having been 3 goals down at the break. Dominic Solanke exquisite turn and finish started the comeback 5 minutes after halftime, and after Elia Zabani bundled in a header for 2-3. Antoine Semenyo completed the comeback with a pair of powerful finishes, the second with only 6 minutes remaining. "It is unreal," Semenyo told BBC Match of the Day. "It is an achievement of mine just playing in the Premier League, so to get a winning goal for the team, I'm buzzing," he replied. It meant Bournemouth became only the 5th team in Premier League history to win a match in which they trailed by 3 goals, and just the 3rd to do so in a game where they were 3-0 down at halftime. The others to achieve this feat were Manchester United in beating Spurs 5-3 in September 2001 in the game of Sir Alex Ferguson's lads. Its Tottenham halftime team talked, and Wolves versus Leicester in October 2003. And finally, all eyes will be on who will be the 11 to represent the Reggae Boys squad for the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League finals. The selection is to take center stage today when an unveiling is expected at a press conference at the Jamaica Football Federation starting at 11 a.m. today. That's sports in our NRP Break of Day newscast at this time, brought to you courtesy of Hepburn's Glass. They are located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston. We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address. This is it now, National Religious Media JA. That's National Religious Media JA at gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp 876-336-9928. That's the local news and sports. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America.
One of the toughest periods.
Critical humanitarian supply and United.
We do apologize, having some issues with the...
Blinken met via video conference Wednesday with ministers from Britain, Cyprus, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, the European Union, and the United Nations to discuss the new maritime corridor for aid into Gaza. Blinken said once it's completed, the corridor will enable the distribution of up to 2 million meals every day, as well as medicine, water, and other critical humanitarian supplies. But he said Israel must make the welfare of Palestinian civilians a priority.
Look to the government of Israel to make sure that this is a priority. Protecting civilians, getting people the assistance they need. That has to be job number one, even as they do what is necessary to defend the country and to deal with the threat posed by Hamas.
Jeff Custer, VOA News.
President Joe Biden will travel to Michigan's premier bellwether county of Saginaw as he looks to shore up support in the key battlefield state ahead of a November rematch against Donald Trump. He started a two-day swing through Wisconsin and Michigan in Milwaukee on Wednesday as he tried to shore up a Democratic blue wall and build momentum for his re-election campaign after a fiery State of the Union address last week.
My predecessor, who failed in the most basic duty any president owes the American people, the duty to care, just to care. And in my view, that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to uphold the duty that gets us through one of the toughest periods in our nation's history. And we have. And now we're building a future America full of possibilities.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest from the Voice of America. There are some issues with the audio, but we are grateful that at least you heard a portion of it. All right, so that was the latest international news from the VOA. Now for the weather report and forecast right here on NRP Radio, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. The National Met Service. And before we do that, let's just give you the theme music and then we come right back to give you that report. Stand by. It is NRP Radio. The National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there's a significant feature of a ridge across Jamaica. The ridge is expected to remain across the island for another few days. Additionally, a low-level jet stream is expected to move into the area tomorrow, bringing windy conditions primarily to southern parishes. In the 24-hour forecast this morning, expect partly cloudy conditions across eastern parishes, otherwise mainly sunny. During this afternoon, partly cloudy across western parishes and hilly areas, otherwise mainly sunny, windy across northern parishes. Tonight, becoming fair. In the 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, that's Friday through to Sunday. On Friday, expect partly cloudy conditions in the morning across eastern parishes, partly cloudy in the afternoon across western parishes and hilly areas, mainly sunny otherwise, and windy across southern parishes. On Saturday and Sunday, isolated afternoon showers are expected across western parishes and hilly areas, otherwise partly cloudy during the days, windy across southern parishes. In terms of other current regional weather features, there is an area of low pressure across Colombia. And the maximum temperature expected for Kingston and Montego Bay today. For Kingston, it's 33 degrees Celsius. For Montego Bay, it is 32 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast right here on NRP Radio. And with that, we've come to the end of our news presentation for this morning. But before we go, here are the headlines once again. The Income Tax Act is to be amended to increase the maximum participating voting share capital of companies listed on the Junior Stock Exchange from $500 million to $700 million. Finance Minister provides further clarification about the personal income tax threshold. Over $70,000 is seized at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. 2 Jamaican nationals arrested. Schools in the Grange Hill community of Westmoreland reopened for classes today. And in sport, Reggae Boys squad for the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League finals to be released today. The full half-an-hour package of news in the NRP Break of Day newscast came to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. Here is your invitation to join us again this evening at 6:30 for the NRP Evening News Roundup. On behalf of the entire news and production teams, I am Leon Nash for NRP News. We encourage you to join this growing medium by subscribing to our YouTube channel at NRP Media JA. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your morning. Reminding you too that if you walk, ride, or drive, make every effort to arrive alive. Have for yourselves a good day, as we said before, and do join us again later on. Bye-bye. It is just about 3 minutes going up to the hour of 7 o'clock. This is your station for the nation. We invite you to stand by and join us for the program that's Let the Word Speak with Reverend Paul Blair. Let the Word Speak is aired every weekday morning at 7 o'clock right here on this station. So we invite you now to go on over to our radio platform as we close out our news on the YouTube and Facebook pages at this time. So go over to our radio platform, which is on the nrpmediaja.com at this stage. All right. So once again, the NRP radio platform is the one which carries out 24-hour operations of radio, 24 hours during the course of the day. So you can always listen to music, features, and information being broadcast on our radio platform, NRP Media JA on the .com. All right.